We're not politically correct, we just have common sense.
Unscripted, unfiltered, unfaltering. Show of Support's Hunt for Heroes offers tributes and true stories of remarkable courage.
That these terrorists could come in your bedroom, they'd kill you, your wife, and your kids. And that's what these men are fighting to protect us from, these murdering idiots. And they're taking them out so that we don't have to deal with them over here.
Show of Support started it all just after the shock and awe bound a nation together. Now, years of footage portraying wounded veterans, deer stands, and standing ovations. Hunt for Heroes, that started as one man's way to say thanks, is now a series that many say is way overdue.
This is something I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
It's just a raw emotion.
It's been like a dream. It really has.
We still have 40,000 injured troops. It's going to take a while to get around all of them, but there's no quitting. It'll never stop as long as I'm breathing.
I love hunting and I love Texas. They're very patriotic in their support of their troops.
It's an emptiness that seems to have no boundaries, a landscape that seems to have no secrets. They call it the Trans-Pecos region of West Texas. In reality, it's the upper end of a great Mexican desert, part of a great chain of huge ranches. And of all of the great ranches in Texas, few have the expanse or the name recognition as the Clayton Williams Ranch.
I was thinking about how big their bucks were, how big, you know where we were going to camp and what the people were like, and just pretty excited.
Trevor Phillips is one of 4 heroes joining Jerry Johnston on the Show of Support hunt for mule deer at the Williams Ranch. The camp is a compound of canvas tents, cook fires, and desert comfort. But whether it's a giant banquet in Midland or a remote hunting camp, Jerry Johnston makes time for a special rifle presentation. This time, this honor goes to one of the most recognized Texas oilmen, the legendary Clayton Williams.
That's a 25-06, Craig.
Really? Yes, it is. Okay, Clayton.
4 lucky military heroes are gathered on this hunt. Each will receive a rifle from Clayton. But few in this small bunch realize who it is that's presenting them this gift.
When you build 26 companies from scratch, you learn real quick that the meanest, toughest fights are right here in Austin with the politicians.
Clayton Williams drilled his first oil well in 1959, and he never looked back. Then in 1990, after a long career as one of the greatest oil men in Texas, Williams fought hard and became the Republican nominee for governor. His eventual defeat to the Democratic opponent was a blow to conservatives, but it gave him more time to build his energy empire. Nowadays, when Clayton Williams gives you a rifle, you've done something. And these soldiers are each humbled by the generosity of this Texas wildcatter.
25-06. God bless you.
Very nice.
Thank you for the job.
I had no idea of, what was come to expected. They told us to pack light, so I just, kind of packed my civilian gear and, some jeans and t-shirts and stuff, and Once we got out here and you started freezing your butt off, you know, you were like, you know, I need a jacket and all this stuff. They did their presentation of what they were going to give us, and, you know, thinking, okay, you know, we'll get some cold weather gear, and they brought out some rifles, and it was just like, I didn't feel like it deserved as much as they gave.
The gear and the camo, they just keep coming. It's something Terry insists on. All part of a promise Terry made almost a decade ago to share his love of hunting to those who have put their lives on the line for this country.
Terry's a real good guy. He come up and said thank you for, you know, the things I've done in the military, and was very supportive, and said, you know, we're gonna have a real good time down here. We went out that first morning sighting the rifle in, and Terry decided to take this can of Tannernite out and put it out about 50 yards, and, you know, tell me to take a shot at. You know, I hadn't shot the rifle before, so first shot I missed, and second shot, we figured out, you know, where it was hitting behind it, so I aimed a little bit lower, and it was a pretty big blast. It rocked the canyon. It was pretty cool.
Army Sergeant Trevor Phillips has not only learned to be a southpaw after losing his right hand. His first shot with his new rifle and his new hand give him confidence, and that will come in handy here in the West Texas desert. A mule deer buck raises the heart rate of an American hero when the Show of Support's hunt for heroes continues. Stay with us. If you know of an American warrior longing for a truly unforgettable hunting experience, or for more information on becoming part of Show of Support's Hunt for Heroes, go to our website, showofsupport.org. Without a doubt, it will be the most remote Show of Support hunt ever, here on the Clayton Williams Ranch in far West Texas.
Oh, wait, there's some caramelizing the sugar on top there.
I'd say a bowl.
It's one of the best hunting camps anywhere, and it's all for a group of American heroes anxious to go on their first desert mule deer hunt.
I've never been this high in elevation, so it was a lot colder and a lot windier than I thought it would be. You gotta be tough to, just enjoy your situation.
Their first morning out is bitterly cold. No matter though, Trevor's guide is Jeff Williams, and he knows this ranch like the back of his hand. He should. He's Clayton Williams' son, and he knows the pockets and crevices where every big buck lays up.
It was pretty bumpy, pretty cold. Definitely, if you're not used to something like that, I've been over terrain like this, so it wasn't really that new to me, but definitely the cold weather, it was something to deal with. First day we went out, it was kind of cloudy. Fog was rolling in the valleys.
It's been staying down in the low 30s, but again, yesterday or the day before, it was like 70 degrees.
It was pretty foggy, it was pretty cold. We rode out on the Jeeps, and there's a lot of land to cover, and we just went out just scouting for deer. And
Jerry Johnston has decided to ride along as another set of eyes scanning the desert. His seat is high in the wind, and on a day like this, the wind chill is in the single digits.
It's a lot of, you stop, you look, you drive, you stop, you look, you're just looking for the abnormal spots on the side of a hill. Once you start picking them up, the color variation of them. I've been mule deer hunting in western Washington, but once you get the color pattern of them down, it's kind of easy to spot them. Sharing a Jeep with Terry, it was pretty good. It was quiet most of the time. We were mostly just looking around for deer, and every once in a while somebody'd start talking about, this and that, and just enjoyed the conversation. The
West Texas desert is no place for corn feeders or tree stands. This is rough country, and they drive for miles and miles and miles without ever seeing any kind of movement. That makes for a long day, or a long several days. And when Trevor gets back to camp and sees what the other guys brought in, the cold, long day takes its toll.
All right.
All three guys got a deer, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of sad.
The next morning, the clouds have rolled out, and so has the bitter cold, leaving camp on another long drive. Trevor's mind goes back to a time and a place far away, in some ways a similar landscape, a dusty, bumpy road in a village deep in Iraq.
As soon as we crested the hill, it was the loudest explosion I've ever remembered. It was kind of like, as soon as it happened, it was just kind of being hit in the head with a hammer. I mean, you're kind of in that dream state. I didn't really feel any pain. I didn't really feel any, any loss of anything. It was just kind of like, okay, what had just happened, You do your battle assessment, okay, who's there, who's not there, who's dead, who's wounded. I had noticed a piece of shrapnel on my shoulder, which I thought, okay, that's it, that's all that happened to me. And it hurt, so it was hot and it was cooking my shoulder, and so I pulled it out, and I was like, okay, it didn't look that bad to me. About 5 seconds after that, I'd looked down, and I seen my hand hanging about 6 inches below my forearm, off of, what looked like a spaghetti noodle. It was like, come to find out it was a tendon. It was just hanging there, and I was like, well, the Army's pretty good at, fixing guys back up, so I knew I needed a tourniquet. Blood, was squirting out the end of it, and so I had gotten down inside my striker. My gunner was kind of delirious, and
There's the damage.
I'd grabbed him and I told him, I need a tourniquet, go get the first aid kit. And I remember waking up, I don't know if it was the next day or day after surgery and stuff, and I had a couple guys, from my company, and they were there, when I was, woke up, and I'd looked down, I'd just seen a big bandage, and I knew, that I started asking questions about, did you guys save the hand? Did you, or is it going to be able to be put back on? And they're like, no, there was too much damage, and so it was pretty upsetting, but I've always had a good heart, and I've been through a lot more stuff than that. I mean, this is by far the worst, but I knew it wasn't the end of my life. I had to keep going, and I had a daughter that I had to raise, and so here I am. I've battled a lot of different things in my lifetime. Each situation is, you either let it get you down, or you learn from those experiences, and I choose the higher road. I'm blessed to be alive. I'm blessed that I can still walk and hunt and, fish, camp, just to be here.
Jolted out of Trevor's memories from that terrible day, the guys scanned every rock and boulder on a shaded hillside.
Terry had spotted a deer and said that he'd seen a buck up on top of the hill. So we were watching it for a while, and decided, we got out the truck, started using our binoculars to try to find out what kind of deer it was, what class of deer it was.
Their hunch pays off. Only thing is, the desert's not a very forgiving place. A last chance at a West Texas muley when Show of Support Hunt for Heroes continues. Stay with us.
I've never hunted mule deer. I've never hunted them here in Texas, and it was a lot of land to cover. and the animals they hide in their little areas, so you gotta travel some country to find them.
Sometimes in the West Texas mountains, you don't find mule deer. You'll find a flicker of a tail or a turn of the antlers. However it is, it's usually a long way off. It's Trevor Phillips' last chance hunt for mule deer. Together with his hunting guide, Jeff Williams, they leave Jerry Johnston back at the Jeep, and the duo move up the hillside for a better view of a well-hidden buck.
We decided to stalk the deer, and we got up and went up behind him. We knew he was still in there, so we kept walking a little bit. We waited, and he come out after a few minutes, and he started walking up the hill like he was, he had seen us, and it looked like he was about to take off.
Wait for him to stop and just squeeze the trigger.
Trevor's having a hard time calming his nerves. This is the first hunt with no right hand. His instincts are sending signals to a hand that's not there. Trevor's fighting to keep the rifle where it should be, following a buck that will soon be where it shouldn't be.
Oh, sweet, he's down. Oh, man. Oh. That was a work to get that. That hill was a pain.
What a shot. Great deer. Perfect. Perfect shot.
Oh, that was just something special. That was more than I could realize. It was, one of the biggest deer I've ever dropped. So it was an experience.
Way to go. Great.
Heck, we didn't see a whole lot either.
By that time, Terry had taken off up the hill. He was pretty excited, and that was my first mule deer.
And a buck is down.
That looked good from down there.
I'm gonna take your gun and go back and wait in the Jeep, and you go ahead and drag him down.
Okay, all right. I'll get up here and hold her. I know. I call my truck a her too. I got a sticker bush in there. It's all right.
It was a hunt that started out bitterly cold and ended up on a warm December day, like it's supposed to be in West Texas. One American soldier, the last one of the group, finally with a buck on the ground and in the memory bank forever.
Nowhere else I'd rather hunt than Texas.
It's a great place. Mule deer, you can hunt all kinds of critters.
It's not just the hunt itself, it's the people, it's the, I feel like home here.
I hear that a lot. I think I get used to it, but I do hear it a lot, and now I appreciate it more, hearing it from guys like you from other parts of the country.
You welcome me into your lives and in your family, and treat me like family. That's what it's all about. Makes the sacrifice feel worth it, of people that appreciate it.
Face of the guys who are protecting us, but what I found out, it gives you guys an opportunity to see the face of those you fought for.
Yeah, I was really pumped up. It was very exciting, and just the thrill of the hunt and getting out with, fellow wounded warriors, and it was really nice.
Well, let's get him loaded up, take him back to camp, show everybody.
Drag him to the Jeep?
Yep. Now watch, he's gonna want to flip. Drop the wood.
When we got to the deer, we were, cleaning up and everything, and probably within 10 minutes, before we even got the deer loaded up onto the Jeep, there was like 3 Jeeps at the bottom of the hill. I don't know if they had heard the shot or what, but everybody headed up the hill and was just grinned from ear to ear. It was awesome. I mean, everybody was shaking hands, and everybody was giving me hugs, and they were pretty excited. It was, a good feeling that everybody was excited for me and that I was excited. It was a good feeling.
Oh, so y'all packed up over there.
We were. See that big rock right there? Right there. Okay, that's where we were standing, and we're watching him. I had to wait. I had to wait for him to get the camera on.
I was
him.
gonna say, was the cameraman dragging y'all down?
No, he was staying right with
He
us.
wasn't filled with pessimism.
No, we were on the deer. I was ready to shoot. The deer kept moving, and he moved the camera forward. You know, put a little bit of lead on him, and he's like, "All right, you ready?" So I got on him. He had to move the camera one more time. I looked at the camera to make sure that the deer was in the little viewfinder, and I just pulled the trigger.
Perfect.
When we pulled into camp, everybody was just like, you know, I had a couple guys that were jealous. Everybody was, you know, ecstatic for, you know, everybody that came out here, you know, the wounded veterans. Everybody got a deer. Everybody got the experience of hunting Texas. Jeff glassed for like 20, 25 minutes. You know, it was perfect.
It's how so many show of support hunts end. A celebration of emotion, friendship, and admiration for the great outdoors. The injuries, the nightmares are all somewhere else on a day like this. In a place like this, a beautiful morning in the West Texas desert, these heroes remind us of one thing. It's good to be alive, and it's good to be an American.
The one thing that show of support and the state of Texas has shown me that there are people out there that are appreciative of what we have done, what we have protected, and it's given me that good sense of feeling that my loss, my sacrifice was not for the people that don't think that we've done the right thing.
If you know of an American warrior longing for a truly unforgettable hunting experience, or for more information on becoming part of Show of Support's Hunt for Heroes, go to our website, showofsupport.org.